what I smell. I smell it. And as we can see, my nose is pretty large. Even though I got allergies, I can still smell well enough. I know what I'm smelling when I'm smelling it. Shedeur Sanders, 5th round pick. Really? Stephen A. Smith Show in the house.
The moment the news broke, the sports world stopped in its tracks. Shedeur Sanders, Deion's son, the quarterback they said was all hype, just made first team. And the very next second, Stephen A. Smith unleashed a firestorm live on air that shook the entire internet. For months, critics mocked Shedeur, calling him soft, overprotected, and undeserving of NFL attention.
So why are we having this conversation about his character? I'm going to tell you why. Because you got people hating on his daddy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
And they want any excuse that they can come up with. And let me remind America why Deion Sanders, we gonna say this. This is why Deion Sanders is hated by some people. Because he was the greatest.
They laughed, they doubted, they trashed his name. But when Shedeur's first team selection went public, Stephen A. didn't just clap back. He destroyed every hater with a blistering rant that's already gone viral. Clips are flooding TikTok, X is melting down, and fans are calling it one of Stephen A.'s greatest on-air moments ever. The question now isn't whether Shedeur belongs.
As of the time of taping this show, have been picked. There was speculation he was going to be number 1.
Right.
Now, ultimately, Cam Ward, it was always him or Cam Ward. But how the hell you go from speculating about him or Cam Ward to Jackson Dart and Milroe and Jalen Milroe and all of these cats being picked ahead of him? How that happened? The Browns needed a quarterback. The New Orleans Saints needed a quarterback. Before they acquired Geno Smith in Oakland, Las Vegas.
It's whether the media that tore him apart can survive the fallout of being proven dead wrong. And trust me, this story is only getting started. The announcement dropped like a thunderbolt across the college football world. Shedeur Sanders had officially been named first team. It wasn't just another accolade. It was the validation of a journey that had been scrutinized, doubted, and torn apart by critics at every turn. For months, Shedeur had been the subject of endless debates. Was he truly elite, or was he simply riding the coattails of his legendary father, Deion Primetime Sanders? To some, his name meant privilege. To others, it meant pressure. And for his harshest critics, it meant an easy target. But all of that came crashing down the moment the first team announcement hit. The internet exploded with posts, hashtags, and celebration. Colorado fans screamed with pride. Deion smiled, like a king watching his heir take the throne, and Shedeur himself, calm and collected, posted a single caption on Instagram. "Keep doubting. I'll keep winning. Your first team." Almost instantly, sports talk shows turned red hot with debate. ESPN's studio looked more like a courtroom, with analysts slamming their fists on the table as clips of Shedeur's highlights played in the background. And then came the voice that made the earth shake: Stephen A. Smith. From the moment the camera panned to him, viewers could see the fire in his eyes. This wasn't just a segment for him. This was a mission. He leaned forward, pointed straight into the lens, and unleashed a rant that fans are already calling historic. You see what I'm talking about? You see it? For months, I've had to sit here and listen to these haters run their mouths. They said this kid was overrated. They said he was a fraud. They said he couldn't handle the pressure. Well, guess what? Shedeur Sanders is first team, baby. And let me tell you something. Every single one of you who doubted him, you look stupid today. The words hit like punches, each one heavier than the last. Social media lit up immediately. Clips of Stephen A. shouting, "You look stupid today," looped across TikTok with fans adding laughing emojis, fire graphics, and captions like, "Stephen A. finally said what we all been thinking." Stephen, a Smith and E.O. Shakuru Shedeur Sanders trended simultaneously on X. Fans flooded the comments with praise. Stephen A. destroyed them. No crumbs left. That man was preaching like he was in church. You can hate Stephen A., but you can't deny he rides for the truth when it matters. And it wasn't just fans. Celebrities jumped in too. LeBron James reposted the clip with flame emojis. Snoop Dogg tweeted, "Talk ya talk, a Stephen A. Smith. The kid earned it." Even NFL stars joined the conversation, with Odell Beckham Jr. commenting, "Respect. First team ain't no accident." But for Shedeur, this moment wasn't about memes or clout. It was about vindication. Because for the past year, he had been under relentless fire. Remember the headlines? Shedeur Sanders can't handle pressure. Iker Dion's son is all talk. Overhyped QB gets reality check. Pundits dragged him mercilessly, with some going as far as to say he would never make it past the college stage. Clips of Colin Cowherd mocking his pocket awareness had gone viral. Rival fan bases taunted him every chance they got. And yet, Shedeur never cracked. His response was always the same: a calm stare, a subtle smile, and another performance on the field that silenced stadiums. He wasn't loud. His play was. That's why this first-team honor hit differently. It wasn't just about stats or wins or awards. It was a message to every single doubter that their words had bounced right off him. Stephen A. knew that, and that's why his rant resonated so deeply. He didn't just defend Shedeur. He went to war for him. He reminded the world that greatness is often misunderstood before it's celebrated. "Y'all disrespected this young man," Stephen A. thundered. "You didn't just question his game. You questioned his character. You questioned his toughness. You questioned his heart. And now, when the dust settles, what do we see? We see Shedeur Sanders. First team. First team. So I don't want to hear another damn word about hype. This ain't hype. This is history." The studio erupted, his co-hosts shaking their heads with half smiles, knowing Stephen A. had just delivered one of those viral moments that would live forever. The rant didn't just trend, it dominated. ESPN clipped it and posted to their socials. Within hours, it had 3 million views. TikTok edits added dramatic music, slow-motion shots of Shedeur, and captions like, "From hated to celebrated." Fans flooded Shedeur's Instagram comments. Stephen A. just gave you the ultimate crown. First team and Stephen A. defending you? Legendary. Haters in shambles right now. But here's where the story took a cinematic turn. While Stephen A. was celebrating, some of Shedeur's loudest critics weren't backing down. In fact, the louder the celebration got, the more bitter their responses became. Rival analysts accused the media of falling for the hype machine. Former players called the honor politics, not performance. One anonymous coach told a reporter, "Look, I respect Shedeur, but let's not pretend this wasn't influenced by his last name. There are other quarterbacks more deserving." That quote alone sparked a whole new storm. Fans went to war in the comments section, debating whether Shedeur had truly earned it or whether the Sanders name carried him across the finish line. And guess who stepped back into the ring to settle it? Stephen A. Smith himself. The next day, he doubled down, looking straight into the camera and blasting the new wave of criticism. "Here we go again. Now it's the name. Now it's politics. Please! If the kid had choked, y'all would have dragged him through the mud. But when he wins, when he earns first team, suddenly it's politics? That's nonsense. Y'all moving the goalposts because you can't handle the fact that you were wrong." The rant wasn't just defense, it was annihilation. And with every word, Stephen A. cemented himself as the loudest, fiercest defender of Shedeur Sanders on national television. By the end of part 1 of this saga, one thing was crystal clear. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just making history. He was forcing the sports world to choose sides. And thanks to Stephen A.'s fiery defense, the haters had officially been put on notice. But the question lingering in the air was even bigger. If this is what Shedeur is doing now, how far can he go when the NFL comes calling? the morning after Shedeur Sanders' first-team selection and Stephen A. Smith's viral rant, the sports world looked less like a celebration and more like a battlefield. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, every corner of the internet was ablaze. For every fan posting highlights and praising Shedeur's grind, there was a critic ready to drag him back down. And this time, the criticism came louder, sharper, and from powerful voices. On FS1, Skip Bayless fired the first shot. Sitting across from Shannon Sharpe, he smirked into the camera and said, "Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen A. is in the business of yelling, not analyzing. Shedeur Sanders is good, I'll give you that. But first team, over some of the other quarterbacks we've seen, that's nothing but hype. And when Stephen A. starts screaming about haters being wrong, what he's really doing is covering up the fact that this was political. This was about Dion, not Shedeur." Those words cut deep, and fans knew they would draw a response. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. The hashtags #YGOTYR Skip vc Stephen A. and #GWAT Shedeur debate started trending. One fan tweeted, "Skip really said Shedeur didn't earn it. Dude just can't stop hating." Another wrote, "Stephen A. gonna eat him alive for this. I can't wait." And sure enough, Stephen A. fired back that afternoon on First Take. He leaned over the table, his voice low and sharp like a blade. "Skip Bayless wants to sit there and run his mouth about politics? Really? Really? Let me remind you, Shedeur Sanders threw for over 3,000 yards, carried his team when everyone else doubted them, and played with a level of poise that most quarterbacks dream of. Politics? No, no, no. That's production. That's performance. And Skip Bayless ought to be ashamed of himself for trying to take that away from this young man." The studio erupted in applause. Clips of Stephen A.'s clapback flooded social media with fans cheering him on. But the backlash didn't stop there. Former NFL quarterback Jeff Garcia added fuel to the fire on a podcast, saying, "Shedeur's talented, but people need to slow down. First team this early? It's premature. It sends the wrong message. You're crowning a kid before he's even proven himself against the best of the best." That quote ignited another round of debate. Critics argued that Shedeur's honor was more about hype than performance. Supporters shot back with receipts, highlight reels, stats, leadership moments. Fans even pulled up Garcia's own career lows, dragging him for criticizing a player who had already achieved more spotlight than Garcia ever had. Amidst the chaos, insider whispers began to spread. A reporter from The Athletic hinted that NFL scouts were paying very close attention to Shedeur's rise. Word around the league is that Shedeur Sanders' first-team nod has elevated him on multiple draft boards. Some executives believe he could be a top 10 pick. That revelation flipped the conversation yet again. Suddenly, this wasn't just about college honors. It was about the NFL. Could Shedeur actually be on track to follow his father's footsteps into the pros sooner than anyone thought? The speculation sent social media into overdrive. Hashtags like "NFL Bound" and "Shedeur to the league" started trending. Fan edits showed Shedeur in various NFL jerseys, from the Dallas Cowboys to the Cleveland Browns, with captions like, "Which team will take him?" And then came the celebrities. LeBron James chimed in again, this time tweeting, "First team ain't politics. That's earned. Proud of this young king." Kevin Durant followed with, "Y'all can't deny the talent forever." Shedeur showed up. Even Patrick Mahomes, one of the NFL's brightest stars, added a subtle nod. "Congrats, you're Shedeur Sanders. Keep shutting him up." With big names lining up behind him, the critics looked more isolated, but they weren't backing down. On his radio show, Colin Cowherd took a more calculated jab. "Look, I like Shedeur Sanders. He's composed. He's talented. But first team, let's be honest, it's a flashy headline. It's a marketing story. It makes for great TV. But does it make him better than every other quarterback? Not necessarily. The media is going to blow this up, but NFL front offices will be a lot more skeptical." That skepticism found its way to fans. Browns forums lit up with posts debating whether Shedeur could survive the NFL. Some argued he was destined to be the face of a franchise. Others insisted he wasn't ready. And in the middle of all this, Shedeur himself. He remained calm, unbothered, and deadly focused. On Instagram, he posted a picture of him lifting weights, sweat pouring down his face, with the caption, "Pressure makes diamonds. You're first team, you're still grinding." The post went viral instantly, pulling in over 1 million likes. Fans filled the comments with support. "Talk you talk, King." Haters wish they worked this hard. Stephen A. said it best, "You belong." But his silence in interviews only deepened the drama. Sports networks replayed his Instagram post like it was breaking news, dissecting every emoji, every word. Was he sending a message to the NFL? Was he firing back at his critics silently? The tension hit a peak when Deion Sanders, Coach Prime himself, entered the conversation. On his X account, Deion posted, "Proud father moment. They can't stop destiny. They can't stop favor. Congratulations, Shedeur Sanders. Keep making history." That post was retweeted over 600K times in 24 hours. Fans cheered, haters groaned, and the debate only intensified. And then came the cliffhanger. Late Friday night, ESPN's Adam Schefter dropped a cryptic tweet, "Don't be surprised if Shedeur Sanders becomes one of the most talked about names in NFL circles in the coming months. More to come." That was it. No details, no confirmation, just a teaser from the league's most trusted insider. Fans lost their minds. Shefty knows something. First team in NFL buzz? The takeover is real. Colin, Skip, all the haters better hide. The stage was set for the drama to explode even further. Because now it wasn't just about Stephen A. Smith destroying Shedeur's haters. It was about whether Shedeur's first-team honor was just the beginning of an NFL story that could flip the league upside down. By Saturday morning, the Shedeur Sanders saga had completely taken over the sports world. His first-team honor was still the headline, but Stephen A. Smith's fiery defense had set a tone that the media couldn't ignore. Every network, every podcast, every sports bar in America was buzzing about one thing. Was Shedeur's rise to first-team pure merit? Or was it manufactured hype? And then the leaks started. An anonymous scout reportedly told Bleacher Report, "Look, Shedeur's earned respect, no question. But the truth is, there's already buzz from multiple NFL teams. His first-team honor didn't just validate him, it escalated his draft stock overnight. I wouldn't be shocked if he's a top 5 pick conversation by season's end." Top 5 pick. Those 3 words detonated like dynamite. Fans and media alike pounced on the story. On X, hashtags Top5Shedeur and NFL Bound trended instantly. TikTok edits showed Shedeur highlights with captions like, "The NFL can't deny him anymore." But with every leak of praise came an equal and opposite reaction of shade. This time, the dagger came from rival quarterbacks. One anonymous college QB reportedly told a journalist off the record, "Shedeur's good, but all this hype? It's because of his last name. If his dad wasn't Prime, he wouldn't be getting half this attention." When that quote hit the airwaves, it was like gasoline poured on fire. Fans rushed to defend Shedeur, pointing out his stats, his leadership, and his consistency under pressure. But haters latched onto it, echoing the sentiment that Shedeur's rise was built more on brand than ball. Stephen A. wasted no time. On First Take, he erupted again, his voice booming with righteous fury. "Here we go with the jealousy. Here we go with the envy. Let me tell you something. Shedeur Sanders ain't riding on nobody's name. He's earning it. And for some anonymous, faceless quarterback to sit there and say otherwise? That's cowardice. Say it with your chest, or keep quiet, because this young brother has proven himself where it matters. On the field." The rant went viral instantly, spawning thousands of memes with the caption, "Say it with your chest." Meanwhile, rumors began swirling about NFL insiders making moves behind the scenes. Audit Rap Sheet tweeted a cryptic message. Several front offices are reportedly increasing evaluations of Shedeur Sanders after his first-team nod. More workouts and conversations could be on the horizon. That single tweet sent the internet into chaos. Cleveland Browns fans flooded timelines, photoshopping Shedeur into their uniforms. Cowboys fans begged Jerry Jones to make the call. Raiders fans started a petition demanding Shedeur be drafted to Vegas. But perhaps the most shocking development came from inside ESPN itself. A leaked email surfaced, allegedly from a producer, describing Stephen A's rant as too hot to cut. The email read, "Stephen A went nuclear, but the numbers are undeniable." Ratings spiked during his Shedeur segment. Expect more coverage? He's moving the needle like crazy. That leak revealed something bigger. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a sports story. He was now a ratings machine. Networks realized that every mention of his name brought engagement, clicks, and viewers. And with Stephen A championing him, the cycle was feeding itself. But not everyone was celebrating. On Undisputed, Richard Sherman raised a serious concern. "I love Shedeur's talent, but all this noise, it can crush a young player. You put the weight of the NFL world on his shoulders before he even takes the next step, you risk burning him out. And that's the last thing we want." Fans took sides immediately. Some agreed with Sherman, urging patience. Others accused him of being another doubter trying to dim Shedeur's shine. Amid the chaos, Shedeur himself broke his silence again, this time with a sub-tweet. They said it was politics. They said it was hype. They said I couldn't, but I did. And I'll keep doing it. Focused. That one post hit harder than any rant or leak. Fans flooded the replies. "Talk your talk, King." Stephen A fighting the haters and now you clapping back too. Unstoppable. Focused might be the coldest hashtag of the year. Even his father Dion reposted the tweet with 3 simple words. "That's my son." But just when fans thought the drama had peaked, another twist dropped. A well-known NFL insider went live on air and claimed, "Don't be shocked if Shedeur Sanders is already being targeted by specific franchises. I've heard whispers about the Raiders, the Cowboys, and yes, the Browns. Teams aren't just watching anymore. They're preparing." The clip spread like wildfire. Raiders fans spammed Shedeur to Vegas. Cowboys Nation trended prime to Dallas. And Browns fans doubled down, flooding the internet with edits of Shedeur throwing touchdowns in orange and brown. The hysteria reached such a fever pitch that even non-sports celebrities got involved. Rapper Lil Baby tweeted, "Shedeur the truth. Akiwa, stop playing with him." Cardi B posted an IG story with the caption, "Y'all mad 'cause he winning." And through it all, Stephen A doubled down once again, this time with a chilling message. "You can hate all you want. You can cry about hype, politics, or privilege. But let me make this crystal clear. Shedeur Sanders is coming. And when he arrives, every last one of you who doubted him will regret it. Mark my words. That clip wasn't just a rant, it was a prophecy." Fans clipped it, edited it with Shedeur highlights, and blasted it across every platform. And then came the ultimate cliffhanger. Late that night, a photo began circulating on Reddit. It showed Shedeur Sanders walking out of what appeared to be a private jet hangar, flanked by men in suits. The caption read, "Cleveland, tonight, don't sleep." And read, "Cleveland, tonight, don't sleep." The photo was blurry, unverified, but it didn't matter. By dawn, the internet was convinced. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just trending. He was already moving like an NFL superstar. The question now wasn't whether Shedeur Sanders belonged. It was whether the NFL was ready for the storm that was about to hit. By Sunday, the Shedeur Sanders story had transformed from a sports headline into a cultural phenomenon. The first team honor was no longer just an award. It was a lightning rod, electrifying debates, sparking rivalries, and splitting the sports world right down the middle. The blurry Reddit photo of Shedeur stepping out of a jet had already broken the internet, but now major outlets were running with it. Some claimed it was Cleveland. Others swore it was Dallas. Raiders fans insisted it was Vegas. The truth didn't matter. The image had already taken on a life of its own, and with speculation at its peak, rival players finally began speaking out, this time with names attached. Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord posted on X, "Respect to Shedeur, but first team over me? Stop playing." The post immediately went viral, sparking a war of words between Ohio State fans and Colorado fans. Replies were brutal. "Cry harder. First team ain't a fan vote, bro." "He earned it." McCord salty because he ain't Prime's son. Even more explosive was a comment from Michigan QB J.J. McCarthy, who told a reporter, "Numbers don't lie, but hype doesn't either. If you're Shedeur Sanders, you're playing the game with a spotlight nobody else gets. Let's just be real." That quote ignited a firestorm. ESPN ran it on repeat. Debate shows dissected it like it was a policy speech. Was McCarthy bitter? Or was he exposing the uncomfortable truth about the Sanders brand? Stephen A. Smith wasted no time obliterating the rivals. On first take, he slammed his hand on the table, nearly knocking over his coffee. Excuse me. Did I just hear these quarterbacks whining about hype? Let me tell you something. If you're great, you don't whine. You perform. Shedeur Sanders performed. That's why he's first team. So instead of crying about the spotlight, maybe try earning it next season. The rant went viral instantly, with the phrase "try earning it" turned into a meme, plastered over Shedeur's highlight reels. But while Stephen A. was torching critics on TV, Shedeur's family stepped into the firestorm themselves. Deion Sanders, never one to stay quiet for long, appeared on a podcast and delivered one of the most quotable lines of the saga. "You can't stop primetime bloodline. We don't ask for hype, we create it. My son didn't beg for first team, he went out there and took it." The internet erupted. Clips of Deion saying "took it" went viral, fueling the narrative that Shedeur wasn't a media darling, he was a generational player. Meanwhile, Shedeur's brother, Shiloh Sanders, jumped in with a more savage approach. On Instagram Live, he mocked Shedeur's critics directly. "Bruh, they said he wasn't built like that. They said he'd fold. Now he first team and y'all crying in the comments. Y'all mad? Stay mad. We eating over here?" Fans loved it. Screenshots of Shiloh's live went viral with captions like, "The Sanders family don't play." But not everyone was clapping. Anonymous leaks suggested some NFL executives were worried the Sanders hype machine was becoming too powerful. One insider told The Athletic, "The talent is real. But when the family and media narrative become bigger than the game itself, it's a double-edged sword. You risk creating distractions in the locker room." That comment sparked an entirely new debate. Was Shedeur's family a strength or a liability? Sports talk hosts lined up to argue. Shannon Sharpe defended the Sanders dynasty. You want family that got your back. You want a father who believes in you. That's love, not distraction. Anybody calling that a liability just jealous they ain't prime. But Colin Cowherd took the opposite stance, saying, "Look, I love the Sanders story. But when dad, brother, and half the family are weighing in every week, it creates a circus. NFL teams don't want circuses. They want stability." The clash of opinions only poured more gasoline on the fire. Fans split into camps, US Team Sanders versus US Team haters, trading blows across social media. And then came the ultimate twist. Late Sunday night, a major leak dropped from a journalist at Sports Illustrated. According to their report, an unnamed AFC team had already reached out to Deion Sanders about preliminary interest in drafting Shedeur. The article claimed the team was exploring options to secure Shedeur in the draft process, potentially reshaping their entire future around him. Though the team wasn't named, speculation instantly zeroed in on, you guessed it, the Cleveland Browns. That leak sent shockwaves through the NFL universe. Was this it? Was Shedeur Sanders not just a first-team college QB, but the future face of an NFL franchise? Fans flooded the internet with conspiracy theories. Colin Cowherd knew. Stephen A. knew. They're prepping us. The Browns about to go primetime. This ain't hype anymore. This is destiny. Celebrities piled on again. Drake liked a Shedeur highlight reel on Instagram, sparking memes of him switching sides. Rapper Rick Ross tweeted, "The league ain't ready for a Sanders takeover." through it all, Shedeur himself stayed cool, posting only a single black and white photo of himself in uniform with the caption, "Stay tuned." The silence was louder than any rant, any leak, any rumor. It was the calm before the storm. By Monday morning, the world wasn't just watching Shedeur Sanders. They were waiting for the next shoe to drop. Would the Browns confirm the whispers? Would Stephen A. deliver another viral rant? Would Dion finally reveal which team had called? The cliffhanger hung heavy in the air. One thing was certain. Shedeur Sanders had gone from doubted to first team, from mocked to celebrated, from overhyped to the most talked about name in football. And the question left dangling like a live wire was this: was the NFL ready for Shedeur Sanders, or was Shedeur Sanders about to rewrite the NFL itself? The Shedeur Sanders story has turned into something much bigger than football. It's a movement, a reckoning, a cultural moment that has the whole world watching. From being doubted, mocked, and dismissed as just Dion's son, to earning first-team honors and having Stephen A. Smith obliterate every critic on national TV, Shedeur has flipped the script in real time. But here's the truth. This is only the beginning. With insider whispers of NFL teams circling, rival quarterbacks throwing shade, and Shedeur himself calmly posting "Stay tuned" while the entire internet explodes, the stage is set for the next chapter to be even more chaotic, more emotional, and more shocking. So don't just watch this story. Ride the wave with us. Hit that subscribe button, smash the notifications bell, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Shedeur is already NFL ready, or are the haters right to call it hype? Because one thing's certain, this storm isn't slowing down. It's building. And when the next bombshell drops, you'll want to be here first, watching it unfold with us. Live, raw, and unfiltered. Stay locked in. History is being written right before our eyes. It's being written right before our eyes.